Update. Husband got weird about physical affection from me and things escalated badly. Original story. My 36 female husband, 34 male, married for 2 years and together for 5 altogether, used to be very affectionate with each other in a way that was playful, flirty, and warm. A couple months ago, he decided I was too clingy and that he wanted to be the one to initiate all physical contact from then on. I do not think I was/am clingy. I initiated hugs and kisses a few times a day with a few other casual touches like a hand on the shoulder, but it was very far from groping him every second. I know he has also been coming to terms with some issues from a difficult childhood at the time. Not physical mistreatment, more emotional abandonment/alienation issues with his parents. So I wanted to give him space and not make this about me, especially as he promised to continue being regularly affectionate. And he has done so. Maybe a bit less than before, but we still have some affectionate touches, initiated by him, every day, and more intimate activities a couple times a week. Used to be more like 3 to 4 times a week. But again, I know he's going through some stuff. A few days ago, I found out at work that I had gotten a big promotion and bonus. When I got home, I was so excited that I threw my arms around him, thereby violating his rule that he needed to be the one to initiate contact. He immediately pushed me away and got extremely angry. It was not a sexual hug at all, more like the kind you see sport team members giving each other when they win a big game. I tried to apologize, but he started yelling about how I am an abuser and traumatized him. He asked me to leave, so I quickly packed a few things and went to a motel, not wanting things to escalate further. I understand from his brother that after I left, he tried to go to the police to press charges, but they said that a quick hug from one's wife, even if not really wanted/expected, was not the kind of thing they're going to prosecute. He is now threatening to call my employer to tell them I am an abuser who engages in intimate misconduct in my personal life. I am not asking for legal advice about that here. What I am asking is, honestly, would he be justified in telling my employer about what happened? I didn't make a terrible mistake even if it wasn't malicious. I believe people are allowed to determine that they don't want others to initiate touch and should have bodily autonomy. Just because I wouldn't be traumatized over a hug doesn't mean he shouldn't be. I'm willing to accept that he may very well divorce me over this, and that I may lose other important friendships and family relationships. But should I also lose my job? My job is working with other adults in an office, not vulnerable people. I don't and have never initiated physical contact with coworkers except an occasional handshake or accepting a high five. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Your husband is a literal danger to you. He's trying to send you to prison and ruin your life because of a mistaken hug. His mental issues have advanced to the point where it is no longer safe for you to be around him. Please consult an attorney. If your husband feels so unsafe around you, do him the favor of removing yourself from his life. Also, consider a restraining order on him since he is harassing you at work. It's sad, but you are correct. Husband has obviously gone beyond a point where he can maintain a healthy relationship due to his issues. The fact that he turned to violent behavior, pushing, screaming, is especially concerning. Appropriate reaction, stepping back and saying, please remember to respect my physical boundaries. I'm happy for you, but I still need space. Massively insane overreaction. Everything your husband did. Warn your boss that your husband is unstable. He is having some kind of mental health crisis and you are the target. Talk to a lawyer. He's trying to ruin your life because you hugged your husband. You need a lawyer to protect yourself as it's a job. You also need to consider if he's a physical danger to you. This is incredibly unhinged. Holy heck. All this over a hug? You didn't do anything wrong. It's fine for him to be upset and remind you of his boundaries. But cops and threatening your job? Way, way, way over the top. Thank you. I really do get him being upset if this rule is what he needs right now. I would have hoped, though, that in seeing that I just made a thoughtless mistake in a moment of excitement and did not purposefully violate his boundary and consent, he would have firmly/sternly reminded me of it, and that would have been the end of it. This was the first time I have made this mistake since I made a request a couple months ago. You did not make a terrible mistake, and it sounds like he's nuts. Sorry. Divorce him and tell your job about this ASAP. Thank you. My employer isn't the greatest in terms of sympathy for personal issues, but I can probably go to my boss and HR tomorrow and let them know that my husband is having a mental health crisis and making paranoid accusations. I hope they would not hold that against me whether or not he ends up calling them as he threatened. And now for the update. So, things came to a head, but not the way I was expecting. My husband's brother-in-law continued to stay with him, while I stayed at a hotel. After a couple days, I got a call from brother-in-law asking me to come home so that we could all talk. He assured me I would be safe. Turns out, my husband has been having an affair with an intern at his company, 21 female, and is deeply in love and wants to be with her. He told brother-in-law this shortly after I left. He wanted to make me the bad guy. So first started with the no touching rule, figuring I would get fed up with it, or that eventually I would make a mistake and he could use that to claim I was violating him. That is what happened. So that I would be the bad guy. It was also a way to reduce intimacy of all types with me, while he was falling out of love with me, and in love with his affair partner. So he made up the stuff about trauma flaring up. It isn't actually having a psychotic break, although obviously he has some level of mental problems to do something so cruel. For what it's worth, he did apologize, sort of. Said he was just so in love with the other woman and couldn't deal with hurting me directly by leaving me right away, so came up with this plan. And just got a little too caught up in character when I gave him the mistaken hug with calling me an offender, making a police report and threatening my job. We sat down and talked about everything with brother-in-law's mediator and agreed to a cordial and quick divorce. Dividing assets 50-50. Thankfully no pets or kids. I know I could probably make things harder for him under the circumstances, but I really just want to move on as soon as possible and put this all behind me. I have a good job/income, and don't need anything from him other than my freedom ASAP. I appreciate everyone who commented. It always sends me messages. Apologies for not responding personally to everyone, but was a bit overwhelmed. Even though things went in an unexpected direction, it was so helpful to see that what was happening wasn't normal. It also helped me to prepare for the truth when it came out. Thank you. Girl, F him. I'm so sorry. Edit, please don't F him. No, never again. She can have him. Warning, he'll come slithering back singing the Learned My Lesson song right around the time that the intern dumps him, and or he gets fired for screwing around on the job. You're doing great. Leave him in your rearview mirror forever. Yeah, that's gonna be a big no. He can lie to bed he made/unmade. Okay, but he's how old at messing around with a 21-year-old intern at his work? Sounds like you need to call his work. Not only is there a big age gap, but there is a power gap as well. Add his narcissist-type behavior, and yeah. If she leaves him after he gave up his wife and life for her, it's going to end badly for her. I mean, she's an adult, at least technically. Plays stupid games, wins stupid prizes. He says she's in a different department, so is not her manager and is not against the rules, although somewhat frowned upon. Is actually one of the reasons I wanted to do our divorce settlement quickly, in case he gets fired. I don't want to get stuck paying alimony because he suddenly doesn't have an income. Oh yeah, I didn't even think of that. Definitely let the divorce finalize first. I should say I'm proud of you for getting out quickly. He sounds awful, to be honest, and you sound lovely. We actually already have a signed agreement, although it will take a bit to finalize legally. I spent the bonus I mentioned in my earlier post on a good divorce lawyer who could draw up the agreement right away, saying how we are dividing existing accounts and property and that we aren't entitled to each other's income or retirement. He wants to move on with a new girl, so he wanted to do things as fast as possible too. I'm just looking forward to him no longer being my problem in any capacity. While he would deserve you absolutely destroying him, he's proven he's an absolute lunatic and is willing to destroy your life to get out of an uncomfortable conversation. So it's way safer for you to just cut your losses and get out as soon as you can. Save everything you can in terms of documentation though, and see if you can get someone to get pictures of him with the affair partner before the divorce, just in case he goes psycho again. Thank you, that is a good idea. I will talk to my lawyer about the best way to document everything in case there is ever any question about the truth. Last story is titled, Update. My husband, who has been parenting my daughter for 10 years, doesn't want to adopt her after she asked him to be her dad for real, but I don't know what to do about our marriage. Original story. I had a child when I was 16 and I'm not with her father, and quite honestly, I don't know where he is. He wanted nothing to do with my daughter. When she was 6, I met my current husband. He promised me to love her and would treat her like his own, and it seems like he has. We have more kids together. It was her 16th birthday last week, and she told me that she wanted her stepdad to adopt her. I thought this was a great idea, and he has always been her dad anyways. He said yes, and there were a lot of happy tears, and my younger kids were happy. It was one of the happiest moments of my life. That night he told me we had to talk. He told me that he did love her, but not the same. And he felt a bit weird adopting her because he felt like it would be a disservice to her to have a dad who didn't love her like his other kids. He told me that he wanted to talk to her about it and say that she could definitely take the last name if she wanted, but that he couldn't adopt her and that he felt bad about it, but it wouldn't be fair to anyone. He said he knows we are a package deal and would always treat her well and like a part of the family, but he couldn't be her dad. He told me he was sorry and he felt guilty and that he would take care of it and I didn't have to. My heart never hurt more in that moment and I genuinely feel like I have failed my daughter. I told him I didn't want him to speak to her about it, and that if he clearly doesn't think of her as his kid, then it's my job as a parent to take care of her. I don't know what to do. Do I ask for a divorce? I've felt sick, dizzy, and numb all week. How do I tell my daughter? I don't know what to do. And please don't tell me that step-parents don't have to love their step-kids the same, because my daughter doesn't have a father and considers my husband to be her dad. He has helped raise her and disciplined her, and shared her best and worst moments with her. I have never felt so terribly about something in my life. Please help. I think I want a divorce. Edit. My daughter said she wasn't feeling well, so she stayed home from school. She asked us if her dad actually wanted to adopt her or if he was pretending to, because she said he's been avoiding her ever since she asked. He hugged her and kissed her and told her he loves her so much, but needed to talk to her. They're on a drive right now. I pray he doesn't tell her the truth. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Wow. That's definitely something that would make me feel different. I would never look at him the same again. I've felt so sick that I haven't been able to make eye contact. As a stepdad, I have raised my stepdaughter from the time she was 3, and she's 11 now. I always cling to the idea of deferred parentage. I've been her dad more than her real dad. I would say that my love for her is only as much as what I feel reciprocated. But that is a choice. Love is a choice. There aren't cherubs making us love some more than others. I can't say why he feels as he does, but if I were you, I would remind him that feelings are not facts. That's good for you right now in this moment as well. How you feel right now after given that information should be viewed in light of what all he has done. He is that little girl's father. His reaction is inexplicable. Just talk to him, don't be rash. Not being a step-parent yourself, don't judge him too harshly right now. I can't imagine the openness and vulnerability it took for a 16-year-old to ask this. I'm sure she felt he would say yes, or she wouldn't have risked the rejection. It's weird when you think about how adoption typically works by people legally becoming parents of babies and children they haven't even met yet. And he can't adopt a child he's already raising and partially responsible for? I'm not gonna lie, I would definitely divorce a man who would do this. I don't understand his reasoning at all. Looking past how crap he is for not loving her like his own kids despite being her dad for 10 years, it's even crappier that he's not willing to adopt her anyway. She has no dad but sees him as one. It would not impact his life in any way to do this for her. But by denying it, especially after saying he would, he will cause lasting trauma to your daughter. I could never love a man who would do that to my child. I understand the risks with adoption, but she's 16 and would likely be 17 before the adoption is finalized. Any parental responsibilities would be over in a year, and he's already fulfilling those responsibilities as is. There's no downside to him adopting her. He's choosing not to do this, choosing to cause trauma to your daughter for no purpose. And now for the update. Everyone was helpful. I know a lot of people told me divorce, but I'm going to try to fix things first. I don't want my oldest to feel like it's all her fault, younger kids to resent her, and I'm scared he wouldn't want to see her anymore. We are going to marriage counseling, and I'm looking for a therapist for my daughter. I let my husband talk to her because I felt like I should give them that, and trusted that he wouldn't be stupid. They went on a drive. Don't know what was said exactly, but they're both upset. I'm going to use fake names to make it easier. My daughter stopped calling my husband Dad and calls him Mike now, if she even speaks/looks at him. He seems upset by it, but I don't know what to tell him. Isn't it what he wanted? My girl has been very quiet and tired, and I told her to stay home from school for a few days, but she didn't want to. My other daughter asked us, why is Hannah calling Daddy Mike? Is he not her daddy anymore? Does that mean she isn't my sister? I corrected her and my husband looked horrified, but I once again didn't know what to say to him. I've been calling her your sister instead of Hannah when I talk about her, and I hope it helped. Once again, thank you. I'm exhausted as a mom and a wife, but I am the glue right now and I am doing my best to make the marriage work and to be a good mom. I'm sure she'll remember that car ride for the rest of her life. I wish her nothing but the best as she navigates this betrayal. Good luck to you. I know you're doing what you think is right, but you're going to need it. No matter what, someone is going to face lasting emotional distress from this situation. This reply is gold. You have betrayed your daughter. I feel so bad for her and can't believe after all the advice that you received, you let this happen. This is a child for Pete's sake. Can you not see what you have done to her? You have effectively excluded her from the family that she has known all her life. No amount of counseling is gonna fix this one. It's very possible your husband has irreparable damaged his relationship with your daughter forever, and that is incredibly sad for her and could have lasting effects on her development, self-esteem, and self-worth. How self-centered that now he is upset that she isn't treating him like dad anymore. He said it couldn't be hers, so what on earth does he expect? His whole reasoning and feelings about this seems to be very selfish. Have you asked him what exactly he told her on to drive? I also don't get his insistence on telling her right away, and the fact he told her yes first and then backpedaled? Lots of red flags. I know he didn't tell her the real reason. I think he might love her more than he thinks, and is regretting his decision. You can tell him he got what he asked for. No one has any good advice, because quite frankly, your husband is an idiot. He's been her parent for 10 years, and suddenly is stuck over some wordplay? In 2 years, it literally wouldn't matter if she would be 18. To be honest, she isn't 16. Lied about her age for more privacy. She's younger, but he has been in her life for a decade. Okay, no problem. That's a minor detail. He still got what he wanted. Quite frankly, ignore his feelings. He signed up to take care of her as a father figure. Did so for 10 years. There's absolutely no difference between adopting her or not to him. But to her, it was a grand gesture and he blew her off. She'll never forget this. And quite frankly, people cut their parents off for a lot less when they grow older. Edit, I see you made a wrong choice. I'm telling my husband he better fix it, and I'll start getting my stuff in order and looking for lawyers.